Okay. So how did you feel? So you watched the video back?
I always look at it a little bit and just kind of like skim through it. I didn't watch the whole thing because I mean I I just coached the class.
Yeah.
When was that?
Did you watch it back like later or earlier? Like, did you watch it back like a long time or like?
I had watched it back like right after I coached,
Okay.
like a day or two after.
There you go. Okay.
It was
Yeah.
like last Monday, right? It's been like
Yeah,
over a
it's been
week.
over a week. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
awesome.
remember though. Now that I see it.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought the teaching was way better. It was very succinct. I thought it like, especially like the start, the teaching was nailed. Um, so there is like I do want to like we'll have a discussion about your toes to bar kind of progression. We'll just maybe tweak that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting my mic closer. There we go. But outside of that, I just felt like the teaching, especially like at the start, was really good. So I think we should focus on seeing and a little bit of correcting and a little bit of like how to bring that into threshold training, which would be like
Yeah.
the next step. So seeing, I thought, and I don't know, if you kind of remember it, we can kind of bring it up a little bit. But I thought that what was interesting was so like we'll talk about the air. I didn't look at your jumping jacks too closely,
Yeah.
obviously. But like so you went jumping jack, air squat. I thought with the air squats, and so like my first note was like you should have called some reps out. You know what I
Like
mean?
at the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like I just want to go, let's go to 640. And so the hollow hold, and I was like, holy shit, this is really good. So your coaching the hollow hold was really good. So we go here. Well, just like look at all those cues going out, those static coaching cues. Like if we go back.
Yeah. I guess I didn't get to do that with the squat.
Yeah. So just you taught something and there was a static position and you cued it a whole bunch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then what was interesting, and I think maybe in the moment you recognized your mistake because it came up later, is all of a sudden, like I thought you were done with the air squats. You brought the air squats back and did a static hold where you actually coached. Do you remember that at all?
Yeah.
And I was like, did you do
I
that
think it was just because they still were not great. So.
Yeah. So let's go through that. I know we've talked about it, but like I said, if something comes up, we will repeat it. So like
Yeah.
I think even if it's a general warm up, you still want to call a few reps out. Like
Yeah.
even then you're gonna try and triage and like say give yourself 5 reps because you don't want people to just like call all the reps out. Give yourself 5 or 6 reps to pick the best and the worst, at least in the static positions to start.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we go back to it, if we go back to your static positions for the air squat or just look at the people air squatting, we'll see a little bit of a difference. So let's go back here. Okay. Well, I want to go get what you taught. I like this too, like using the jumping jacks to actually talk to people. Like that's your movement where you get people moving, you get to talk to people. That was
Yeah.
great. So right there, so we said send our hips back. That's what
Yeah.
we're looking for. 15 air squats. Again, you have this habit, you're kind of turned around there.
Yeah.
Like try and face and say go. Give yourself every rep as an opportunity. But let's just watch a couple air squats. So what do we see right here with this dude in the green shirt?
I wasn't watching him. I was watching Nikki, but I think he knee initiates a little bit.
Oh yeah, but like so we didn't catch it.
Yeah.
And so he's knee initiating. The one thing you taught.
I feel like that one was better.
Yeah, the one
Just
rep
getting.
you were looked at, it was better, but we're gonna pull back to this guy
Yeah.
later on, right? So
Okay.
the one rep you saw of him, just because we weren't necessarily setting ourselves up to see the best, you missed like it was his best rep. I don't know if he was doing it because he knew you were watching, but literally because of the way you kind of went through the group, like one person at a time, that
Yeah.
guy's best rep of the squats was the rep you saw, which is like good. But so like I would say that,
None of you like those.
yeah, I would say as a whole, like some people were doing it, some people weren't. Other
Yeah.
people weren't even really squatting. Like some people were just randomly moving through space.
Yeah.
Uh, so calling a few reps out and checking on it and then beelining to the worst people is going to be a good way to do that. And like you can still use 15 reps and then just like on your hand secretly kind of count how many you've called. And then if you call like 8, say do 7 more on your own.
Right. Yeah.
Um, and even like for the first round of a warm up, because maybe these people are experienced athletes and they want to do some leg swings, just be like, okay, now do air squats till I say stop. And that way people can move at their own pace, especially for the first round. Like I don't love even like first round ever giving a number. Because if I
Yeah.
have someone who's like 55 and was late for class, and I have someone
Yeah.
who's like 23,
And I never like usually if I just say a number that's big enough and then I just stop people anyways.
yeah, but why
Yeah.
even have a number? Just say do air squats until I say stop.
Yeah.
It's a much easier way.
Sometimes I say that.
Yeah,
Just
but
depends
just
on the
make it
day.
your default, right? So
Ah,
you're probably a little more nervous when you're getting these classes recorded. Make it your default and then go to reps if you can justify it. So don't make giving reps your default. Make time your default for a warm up. It's like the opposite of like a metcon. Like when you write a metcon, your default writing of a metcon should be for time. Your default warm up should be it should be like a set amount of time. It should be task priority. Like do some air squats. Okay. So that was like the big thing I noticed and it carried over. But then what happened was if we get to your squats, oh yeah, I didn't write that from. I'm so bad at writing timestamps down. After the hollow holds, I just want you to see how much better your coaching is when you have control of the group. And it was super handy that you provided us this opportunity. See, then you fixed his squat too, right? Even though it wasn't like maybe the best way of cueing, but you still fixed his squat. So like that right there was way more potent than any of your sets from the warm up, from the general warm up. And I would say this is still kind of the general warm up. And so that's why I was curious because I was like, oh, you could have got a lot more out of your athletes in that general warm up.
yeah, because would say it was only like 8 minutes in the
You had
class.
plenty of like your time
Yeah.
was great, but just like a better way to think of it would be the opposite, where like at,
Yeah.
this would be do 15 on your own or do 20
Yeah.
on your own. Like if you wanted to keep the exact same structure of your general warm up, even though you started to sprinkle a specific in with the hollow hold, I think a little bit, if you
Yeah.
started to keep that same structure, you do more called reps at the start because it allows people to open up at the bottom, especially with an air squat. They're just chilling down there, opening the hips up. And then as you get them warm, you do the reps a little quicker, you call the reps faster because you also have a better idea of what's happening as it
Yeah.
goes through. So
Yeah.
that would be like a good example of why that's important. And I know we've talked about it in the past, but it's always good because I think that now that your teaching is a lot better, I think that you can start putting it into seeing because I think people in general were moving a little bit better than your average class. The last class I saw with squats, I don't know if it's the group, but I do think your teaching was really good,
Yeah.
right?
It's the same. It's the same class,
Yeah, but just your
but I
teaching
think
was
I'm missing a few of the people from the other. I yeah, the last overhead squats class you've seen was some of the not so great movers.
but like just even these air squats were really good air squats
Yeah.
because there was like
I
a
always say that
progression.
6 a.m. has the best air squats though.
That's
And this is
fair,
6 a.m.
but I just think like the teaching should be applauded and it is
Yeah.
pretty good. And then it's just making sure we're using that good teaching now to get into seeing, and then if we start seeing the correcting, it'll be a little bit better.